Policies are used to perform many types of tasks, from simple maintenance like log flushing to complex software deployments. This video will explore some of the basic ways we can help users in their day-to-day work. If you haven't checked out our Introduction to Policies video, I'd recommend starting there, where we explore what policies are and their basic components. My name is Kyle. Welcome to Simple Policies. Let's start with a simple policy to send our users a message through Notification Center. A policy like this won't even require us to configure any payloads. From the Jamf Pro dashboard, navigate to the Computers tab and select Policies on the sidebar. Create a new policy by clicking New in the top right. We will need to provide a display name. I'm going to call this Office Notification. If we're not quite ready for this policy to deploy after it's been saved, we could deselect this Enable box to prevent it from deploying. I'm going to leave it selected, select a category. I'll put this in Productivity, and a trigger. I want this policy to deploy as soon as possible, so I'm going to select Recurring Check-in. Once we've finished configuring and saving this policy, it will deploy to computers the next time they check in with Jamf Pro. By default, once per computer is selected for the execution frequency. If we wanted to send a scheduled message every month, for example, if expense reports were due, I could select once every month from the menu to repeat this message. For this example, we only want this message to display once, so leave the frequency at once per computer. Once the general payload has been configured, navigate to the Scope tab. To test this policy, I'm going to scope it to my computer by selecting Add to the right, find Jamf Training in the list, and clicking Add to the right. Skip over the Self-Service tab and proceed to User Interaction. Here we can configure start and complete messages, which will display in Notification Center for our users. Let's let them know they should open self-service to get help from IT. It's dangerous to go alone. Once we're finished, click Save, and at the next check-in, we'll see our policy trigger and provide the notification. I'm going to fast forward a bit here, and in a few minutes, the message resolves in Notification Center. If users have notifications turned on, a pop-up will appear in the top right. Otherwise, they can check notifications in the menu bar. Let's create one more, a policy to create a new IT account on users' computers. This account will allow us to remote into computers or log in physically without asking users to expose their account password to us. To do so, create a new policy. We'll call this IT account. Select a category. Information technology seems appropriate. And trigger this at Next Recurring Check-in. We only need this account created once, so let's leave our execution frequency at once per computer. On the left side, we'll navigate to the Local Accounts payload and click Configure. This payload is used to create and delete accounts, reset account passwords, which differs from changing a password. Resetting account passwords will not update users' keychains and should only be used if a user has forgotten and cannot recover their current password, and prevent users from unlocking File Vault. I'll leave the radio button to create new account selected. Provide a username, in this case IT support, a full name, password, and home directory location. As the tooltip tells us, we can place this in the traditional /users directory or in another directory that prevents users from stumbling across it easily. The suggestion is /private/var, which is where I'll place it by typing in the file path with the username IT support appended at the end. If we're feeling forgetful, we can provide a password hint and specify an account picture if we prefer, say, the gingerbread person to the penguin. We could also use a custom picture here. If we want this user to have administrator privileges, we need to check the box below. Once the payload is configured, navigate to the Scope tab. In this instance, I'll use the drop-down to scope this new IT account to all computers, and finally click Save. Because this is an account for use by IT, we may not want to notify our users it's being created, so I'll stay away from the User Interaction tab. We can easily track the status of the policy by selecting the Show in Jamf Pro Dashboard checkbox in the top right. After the next check-in, our IT user will be created, and we can confirm this by navigating to System Preferences, Users and Groups. We can confirm the home folder is in the correct location by using Go To Folder in Finder and typing the file path. If, for some reason, the account does not appear after the next check-in, we can view the status of the policy by returning to Jamf Pro and selecting Logs at the bottom right of the policy. In this case, the policy has successfully deployed and the completed status is present. If the policy hasn't deployed yet, this will read Pending, and if it failed, it'll say as much. We can view detailed logs for each computer by selecting Details. And if we want to rerun a policy that has an execution frequency of once per computer, we can flush the log, returning it to the queue. This video covered creating simple policies to be deployed automatically to our enrolled computers. Policies are potent management tasks with vast potential, and a little creativity can go a long way. For more on policies, check out our video, Policies and Self-Service. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.